How's it going, friends? So one of the #1 questions that I get is what lens should I get for my camera? I get this question all the time, especially around birthdays, Christmas, when people are looking for other people. And so I wanted to tell you what, if there was one lens to rule them all, which one should you buy? And my recommendation is the 50mm lens. So whether you're shooting on Nikon, Canon, or many other ones, I think that focal length offers a bunch of benefits, and usually you can get a great lens for a very affordable cost. But first, let's make some coffee and then we'll jump into what lens you should buy. All right, so we got some great coffee. That was fantastic, and hopefully you enjoyed seeing how we made that. We shot a lot of that, actually, that video on this 50mm lens. So just to give you some perspective there, you can do video and you can do photography with that lens. When you look at the 50mm, there's kind of like 3 different options. One, you can get like some lenses, and you'll see them on Amazon for like 50 bucks, $49. And I've worked with those a little bit. I don't know that all of them come with autofocus. And they're fun if you just need to spend next to nothing. They're fun to have, and I've shot with those, but they're not gonna be quite as sharp, and they're gonna lack some features. You can go up from there to the Canon 1.8 aperture prime lens, the 50mm here, and you can see the build quality is not quite as sharp as this one that's 1.4. It's not going to let as much light in because it's at 1.8 instead of 1.4 like this one. But still, for the money, $129, if you can't afford the more expensive lens, I would totally just pick this one up and try it out. If you have a little bit more money, I would upgrade to this lens. Now, there's a lot of photographers that think that this lens is actually a little bit better, or at least so competitive with Canon's more expensive 1.2 50mm lens that a lot opt to go for this one. In fact, I have 2 of these lenses, and I love just to have them around and shoot a lot of our projects with them. And so you can shoot engagement, you can shoot photography for weddings, you can shoot video. There's hardly a project that you can't shoot on the 50mm 1.4. The other things to note with that is Henri Cartier-Bresson, who's a famous photographer. You can look up some of his work. He shot most of his work on a 50mm, and I think if a photographer like that, who's got amazing works of art, can do that on a 50mm, then so can we. So I recommend the 50mm as being the one lens that you make sure you have in your camera bag. A lot of these cameras come with the cheaper lenses, come with kit lenses, and you don't have prime, and it's hard to shoot that lower aperture photography, which is so fun. Now, a lot of times I'm not shooting at 1.4, I shoot a couple stops higher than that. You often hear that a lens shoots 2 stops above its lowest aperture. So a lot of times I'm at 2.2, 2.5, 2.8, and sometimes a little bit higher. But the advantage of this lens is that you can get down there and you can let lots of light in. And if you're shooting some portraiture and you have a still subject and you can really focus in, it is fun to drop it down to like 1.8 or 1.4 and just have the background completely blown out. Even if you have just a little bit of tilt in the face, you'll have one eye that'll be super in focus. It's nice on the skin because if the eyes are in focus, there's parts of the face that are actually blurry, and that softens the skin and does a great job just making that person look that much more beautiful. So that's my recommendation, having this lens in your bag, whether it's the expensive version, moderately expensive, $329 or so, or this cheaper lens, or this cheaper lens for $129, maybe even the cheaper ones for $49, I would recommend having the 50mm in your bag, and I think you'll love it. Share some examples of your photography with us, and if you have a question, ask it in the comments, and maybe we'll make a video about it. See you next time.